This is a teach-in, so I have a lot to share, so people can get their notes or whatever, because I have a lot to share. We were first asked to talk about what we see as unity. When I was within Cobra, I started an educational project called Reparations 1, 2, 3, which I think are the foundational principles of unity. And it comes out of the Durban Declaration and Program of Action that was spoke on earlier today. And I think these are the basic principles that we all should be united around. And number one is that crimes were committed, crimes against humanity, which are the gross level of crimes that a state can commit against its civilian population. And so in 2001, of course, at the World Conference Against Racism, the international community declared that enslavement, colonialism, apartheid were crimes against humanity. And those crimes consisted of three periods in America: the period of enslavement, the period of apartheid, which is called Jim Crow, and this current period we live in, post-1965, which I call the neo-apartheid era. Number two in Reparations 1, 2, 3 is continued impact or injury. Certainly, under the United Nations reparations legal framework, you have to identify crimes, you have to identify continued impact, and then reparations. So number two is continued impact, continued injury. And COBRA has historically said there was 5 major injury areas: education, criminal injustice, the criminal punishment system, health, peoplehood, and the fourth one is education. Health, education, criminal punishment, peoplehood, and I think there's one more. Some cities are replacing peoplehood or culture with housing. I've seen that in their 5 injury areas, and the state of California had 14 areas in which they looked at continued impact. But the number two is continued impact, and number three is reparations to do. And under reparations, we state that, again, we look to the international community because there's no standard for reparations in America. And so we looked up to the international community for a standard on reparations, and that standard is full reparations. It says that a party guilty of harms or crimes, in our case, sanction and guarantees and assurance of non-repetition, restitution, returning people back to where they would have been had they not been injured, compensation for the gravity of the crimes that were committed, a satisfaction is a way to return the dignity back to the people, and then rehabilitation for heart, mind, and spirit damage. So I think these are the basic principles that we can all unify around. And again, this comes out of the Durban Declaration Program of Action. It's something that we can unify around in the entire global reparations struggle. Crimes were committed, there was continued impact and injury, and therefore reparations is due. Trying to set my timer. Give me 1 second. Delete that. Let's start again. So now, what am I doing? What is Reparations United doing in the movement? When California's Shirley Weber decided to introduce reparations legislation, she looked at HR 40 and implemented the exact bill on the state level. So we can take a little credit in writing the California bill. I was also the lead writer in writing the Illinois Reparations Commission bill and also the Chicago Reparations Commission bill. Each of those have been passed. Illinois was passed a year and a half ago, about a year ago, and Chicago was passed in 2020. And just recently, the new mayor, stated he would put $5.5 million into the next year's budget for the Chicago reparations, $500,000 going to the commission and $5 million going to an office of returning citizens, which we have advocated for Reparations United and the Conrad World Community Reparations Commission, which I think one of our leaders on. We advocated for a reparative basic income program for young men and women to move them out of the informal economy into the formal economy. And so that is part of the reparations that the Chicago mayor just indicated that he would put into the budget. So we're 3 out of 4 of the legislations that we proposed that have been passed, and we're working diligently on the 4th, which is the federal legislation. And I'll talk about that in a second. 3 initiatives that we're doing is the Reparations Unity Tour, entitled The Mission and Mandate, the Method. We've been going into these areas that supposedly are contentious, these areas where people are primarily in the lineage-based camp. And we're saying that we have to unite, even though we have these major differences, but that we can unite around the mission. And the mission is a federal executive order, federal bill through executive order. federal commission through executive order. That is the mission, no matter what forms we should think reparations should take, no matter who we call, how we define ourselves, that the mission is the mission of getting an executive order. And we've had success in that. We've brought people together who had not been together before, and they say, yeah, we can unite around this mission, because neither one of us have to give up our other beliefs around, again, who's eligible, what forms reparations should take, and what we call ourselves. The second action that we're doing nationally is we teamed up with a major law firm, as well as Howard University School of Law Movement Law Clinic, to revise the slavery disclosure ordinances that have been on the books for about 20 years in some cities and some states, but they haven't been enforced. So we've drafted a model bill called the Slavery Disclosure and Redress Ordinance, which mandates these non-governmental complicit actors in the enslavement and harm of our communities to engage in repair right now in our communities. All of the energy in the country right now has been around governments, state governments, local governments, federal governments, but we know there were corporations, institutions, and families who are also complicit, and that this slavery disclosure ordinance, slavery disclosure and redress ordinance, is a way in which we can bring justice, we can seek and demand justice from these entities as well. So we'll be rolling that out in November, December at the Evanston National Reparations Commission, November 30th to December 1st. And we're looking for as many organizations that want to take part in that process to join us. I'm going to put the link of that in the chat, a form that if you want to join that process, that effort, you can do so by filling out this form. We'll put that in the chat now. I don't see the chat. Okay, we probably don't have a chat. So I will put it in the question. Okay, we don't have a chat. Okay.
There's a QA room here.
Okay.
There's a QA room here. You all can take note of what he's saying. There's a QA room with 28 questions right now. And as soon as the presentations, whoever will be remaining, we will answer questions. But go right ahead. This is
okay. So the next, I wanted to put these two links in. Maybe I can send them to someone. They can put the links out. And
send it to Ms. Tahita, please.
Okay, I'll do that. And then the other campaign that we're undergoing right now is a national campaign for an executive order entitled "Earn My Vote." This also is a national campaign. We have a form for that as well if you want to sign on to that. What we understand right now, and a lot of people who are disappointed that the Republican Party controls the Congress, and we know nothing can be moved through Congress right now. And a lot of people just fell off of the national effort for federal redress. And we're saying this is the most opportune time for us to be pushing the national effort, because we're in a presidential elections season, and the Democratic Party is so dependent upon the Black vote. If we organize with the national campaign and demand a reparations commission through executive order, we believe we can do that. But it would take all of these organizations who are represented here and more to engage the president and the Democratic Party to make sure that that mission happens. So, like I said, we wrote 4 legislations, and we passed 3 of the 4, and the final one is the executive order, or the federal jury judge bill, and we're looking for an executive order in the amount of HR 40. That executive order has been written by someone in Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee's staff and forwarded to the president's team. He has it, and it's simply asking for an HR 40 commission through executive order. So it's designed to do exactly what HR 40 was designed to do, and that's to create a master plan of redress for Black America. And I say it's a master plan of redress because, one, it's supposed to study the period of enslavement and determine the continued impact of the crimes committed during the period of enslavement on current living Black people, and then craft remedies to address that current impact of enslavement. Secondly, it's supposed to designed to study the period of apartheid, determine the continued impact of apartheid on current living Black folks in this country, and then craft remedies to address those current injuries. And then finally, and I'm going to conclude here because my time is up. Finally, it is to look at the neo-apartheid era crimes, mass incarceration, predatory lending, police terror, etc., and determine its the full impact on those of us living today and the continued impact it would have if redress is not done on our preceding generations, and craft remedies to address that continued impact. So we say HR 40 Commission is designed to create a master plan of redress for Black Americans. That's how we wrote the bill. And if we get the commission established, it's our job and duty to make sure we get experts. The struggle continues. Reparations now. Thank you.